Afam bụ Donald Igwegbe Anadu. Abụ m onye Ezinifite na Agụata Local Government Area, Anambra State. Anọ m ọgụ abanyere m na Biafra na 1968, early 68, amaghịzi m exact date, mana abanyere m na 68 as an officer in training, AJM School of Infantry. School of Infantry dị n'Ọlụ, and ha na-train young officers to join the army. So AJM straight to Ọlụ for training as a second lieutenant. Oge m jesi School of Infantry, I posted to Owerri, S Division. So that's from na SD, and on the 78th Battalion. And so I know more going Owerri, around the whole of Owerri, Emmanuel College, Nekebe, Imerienwe, Ubomiri, and the academy was Naze, Owerri itself. I know clear Owerri the first time. Then a bit the second time I went to Gabon for further training. So Natazi wanted to get there. That was my position during the war. I ended up being a lieutenant, a full lieutenant, before I got there. Well, the war made them lose the age for 2 years. That was the biggest effect. So everything in Emezi was, I had lost 2 years during the war because I came to university in 67 September. And I did it in 1971 because of the war. So that was the biggest effect. And of course, the general effect, everybody was that our place were devastated. We lost lives. We lost small kids. And we bore the brunt of genocide in the Ugwu and the Nigeria and the other. Even Kunogata Undikita, on a Dendikita Kagas, Nanya, Nani made mistake in the walk. Mana Oboretua Ani Oguano, Ani kwesịrị ịnụ ọgụ maka a na-egbu ndị be anyị, na-egbu ụmụaka, na-egbu ụmụ nwaanyị, na-egbu ma ndị dị ime. So anyị nwere reason anyị dị wee nụrụ ọgụ. Anyị anụrụ ọgụ maka na anyị dị nzuzu ma na anyị nụ ọgụ ka anyị wee survive. I learned a lot. The biggest thing I learned was imewukata mmadụ at a stage onye a ga-asị well ka ya zọọ onwe ya. So ndị ugwu na ndị ọzọ mewukatara anyị wee sị mba anyị ga-azọ onwe anyị. Osisi nụ na a ga-egbu ekwuru, mmadụ nụ na a ga-egbu ọnọghalịa zọba onwe ya gbawa ọsọ ma soro n'usoro mmadụ ọgụ. Ndị ife anyị mee ụfọdụ na-eche na anyị ome mistake wee nụba ọgụ. Mana mụ nwafere na anyị mere mistake, anyị mee ife anyị kwesịrị ime oge a. Maka ọ bụ na anyị emere ya, anyị amarọ m ife akụkọ a ka abụ na mana n'obi m efere na anyị mee ife dị mma. And ife anyị na-azọ bụ anyị na-azọ ndụ anyị. Wee na-azọkwu idozi obodo. Ị na-anya etu Nigeria dị kịta, Nigeria aghasasị aghasa. Onwere onye ma ebe a na-eje, onwere onye na-ekwu eziokwu, onwere onye na-achọ ife ga-abalụ mmadụ niile uru, onye ọbụla chọọ iburu ego onye na-abịa. Mana oge Biafra anyị nwere ezigbo obodo, sọsọ 30 months ka anyị nọ, mana 30 months anyị nọ anyị nwe gọọmenti na-aga n'iru, gọọmenti fụrụ ndị ha na-achị n'anya. Ndị ha na-achị n'anya kwerekwa na ha nwere onye dị corrupt, nwere onye na-awụ ọnọkọta ọjọọ iburu ife mmadụ ma ọ bụla ego ọra rie mba ademie. Even na Eastern Nigeria, ọchịchị Akparachi anyị bụ nnukwu example. Akparachicha during the war, Ojukwu chebe anyị, Ojukwu was not corrupt. O nwere ife o ji ego mmadụ eme. So ife ọbụla ọrụ niile a na-alụ during the war, the civil service, was perfect. Nwere onye na-ezu ori ịbata na bank, onye bank ewere ego nye gị jebe ebe ị na-eje. Kịta ịba na bank enye gị ego, a na-eche ka inye ha tip and stuff like that. Adịba ekwu na nke a bụrụ ya nwa jọkarịsị, mana ife jọkarịsị na-ewe oke ọchịchọ na mbukọlụ. Ndị gọvanọ anyị niile nwere onye na-achọzi idozi obodo, mana ana m anụkwa ezigbo story na ife dịka Rivers State, not Rivers State, Cross River State na Akwa Ibom. Adịbago nnọọ mmụọ, adịbagokwa nnọọ etu life na-adị. That's a nice question. What much I get about what the school system is, like everything I know are controlled by federal government to a certain extent, which is another useless war of eaching the mother. The federal government go then yellow mana whether my whole thing Biafra na school system or not. At the end of the day, when you're accusing history, like Nigeria, I want to accuse maka Biafra. I'm not history on accusing what you see. So I'm going to na here America eventually I get me. So agma say ndị be anyị ụmụaka na-etote stories ha na-agụ ha ga na-eteke with a pinch of salt because it depends on onye deli enu. And then they should read a lot about Biafra. They should ask questions. Etu unu si fwa ajụma adịghị happy unu na-eme abụrụ some kono ga na-ajụ ndị ọzọ. And I like emefu ụmụ Igbo United na-eme. You see, maybe I'm not too political about it. Man, focus on to retain our culture, to retain our language, and anyway those things should do here. I know about the other countries in more of man. And America, you know, if you want to carry on Poland, you say it's your cousin a Polish, it's your cousin English. It will can talk and the buy its name. I want to moto ụmụaka ụnụ ajụọ ha kedu ebe ha si ekwuo ajụọ ha sị ịchọ ka nsụọ n'Igbo ka ịchọ ka nsụọ n'oyibo ọ ife nchọ. That's the only way anyị ga-esi dobe culture anyị dobe then by and large nwere onye ga-ewepụ anyị n'iru ụwa Chineke ke anyị ga-anọ ndị Igbo ga-anọ ma ụmụ anyị ma ụmụ anyị ga-anọ na-asụ Igbo asụsụ anyị a na-etowanye ife anyị na-eme a na-aga n'iru. The next thing I want to add is that those of you who are young, those who were not born during the war, who were not even, who were too young or something, like I said, they should ask questions. They should also read. There are fundamental books you will have to read. Don't say it's too much. You have to read. And we are watching there was a country. It's not serious, but it's to mimic the war. Where sunset at dawn. It might not be around, but I'm sure on the internet you for some of these books. Another book who was involved in the Biafran War. It's the brutality of nations. Jacobs, and he wrote about Biafra a lot. So, the actual what happened in Biafra really, and like I said, I was there, but I can only be in one place. I don't know where a sector. The other on it's a sector when they know Igwegbe, when they know Enugu and Umuahia and so on. But all sector none I can get we can cover. That one is also related to what I've just said. It depends on whom you're looking at, whom you're reading, whom you're listening to the news from, and who is in charge, and so on. Some are controlled by the government, some are state-controlled. So, Nigeria, I'm major often. We find some newspaper was some. Newspaper portrays Biafra with a positive attitude. Okay. Other papers in the north and west and so on may not see it as the way we see it. So it depends on whom you are looking at. Okay, I like that question. There's been so much debate. There are people who want to call it Biafra, and they want it by any means, whether it's by fighting or by negotiation, but they want it. They don't want any discussion about the name. But I listened to a talk from the former governor of the bank, Nigerian bank. What's his name? From Ethiopia. Okay. Anyway, I listened to his public lecture once, and he was talking about the concept of Biafra. We don't have to answer Biafra if we can still achieve Biafra in concept. Now, what I'm getting at is the political situation in Nigeria is in a mess. But if we have to stay there, which that's what we're doing right now, we have to think again. We have to sit down and forget about all these grabbing money and building houses in Abuja and Kano and Sokoto and everywhere, and then to come back to our senses. I'm not saying that people should come out from there, because I mean, we're not from US, but we're here. So you can stay anywhere and still develop your place. So what I'm thinking is when the rain stops, when everybody gets to their sense, we should all get together. We cannot fight this as individual states. Like Imo, do what they want to do. Anambra, do what you want to do. Cross River, do what you want to do. The whole eastern region should get together. And if they do, they should have a leader. Even if it means we don't have a capital, I don't care. But that concept of these were the people who were shown unjust way in Nigeria. People were killed. It was not only Igbos who were killed. People from the River State were killed. People from Calabar were killed. The only thing is that they call them Igbos. But if we get together, I mean, Igbos alone have about 5 or 6 states. If we get together and have one party, and thankfully maybe Cross River will join, Rivers will join, Bayelsa, Delta, all these people will join, then we form a formidable party already. And so when we go to the federal government, nobody's going to have government without us. We have to share the job. But if we keep one state is in APC, one state is PDP, one state is there, this state, is APGA and so on, it cannot work. So we have to, if we want to get what we need, we have to come together first. We must have a leader, a sensible leader who is not greedy, who doesn't need money, because I don't know why some people need this money so much, what they're going to do with it. We still have intelligent people, but now nobody wants to hear what anybody else is saying. Everybody wants to be the speaker, the most intelligent, the richest, and so on. And we cannot go anywhere with that. But I think if we can get together, like just have said, then we can have a big impact on the Nigerian government. And then we can start talking about national conference, where we can start again saying, let's have a confederation. Every state, what you have is yours. You don't depend on federal government to run your schools or run your hospitals. And right now, nothing is working. We don't have schools. We don't have good schools. We don't have hospitals. We don't have light. We don't have. The only thing we have is telephone, which is personal thing. So we don't have all these basic things in Nigeria. During the war, our post office was working. Nigerian post office is not working. Ojukwu built 2 airports in 13 weeks, one at Uli, one at Oga, the Air Force, and then the normal, which I used one of the airports to travel during the war. It was working. The civil service was working. We were refining our own fuel within the backyard of schools, and so we did a lot within 30 months. And now, the whole Nigeria, with all the big money and the whole thing they have, it's impossible to do anything.
Basic needs.
So that's what I'm thinking. We should unite, and then we can get Biafra in concept. We don't have to answer Biafra if it's making anybody happy. We just say, look, Eastern Nigeria, let's do our thing. Let's organize our place. Let's abandon this corruption, and then see that our people are average in looking after themselves. But once I came to Igbo United, I think it was in Maryland somewhere, and I sat in one of the discussions, and one young boy said, Biafra is a distraction. See, that's where I wasn't happy about the statement, but I didn't want to blame him because he didn't know. So I don't want people to think that Biafra is a distraction. It's not a distraction. Biafra is a determination. We have to determine to take care of ourselves. Nobody's going to do it for us. So it's not a distraction. It's a matter of how do we do it? How do we get to the concept of Biafra again? Because we need to. Even if it doesn't happen in my lifetime or even some of you, it doesn't matter. I mean, it took Nelson Mandela how many years in prison to get South Africa out of a mess. So it doesn't really matter how long it takes. Matter if we forget it, forget our language, forget our culture, then the whole thing would be, they would have defeated us completely.